The snare of the narcissist is exactly like the venom from a snake. The snare of the narcissist represents an unholy firewall. So when a narcissist comes into your sphere of influence, into your work or into your personal sphere of influence in your personal life, the snare of the narcissist is both toxic and paralyzing. So this is how you recognize a snare of the narcissist. They dominate the conversation. They completely control the conversation. You speak 1% of the time, and they speak 99.9% of the time. If you do manage to get a sentence in and contribute to the conversation, they will add and supplement everything you say with a stronghold of something else or about someone else. They will invalidate what you say by referencing a minister that's very popular in the media. So whatever the Holy Spirit is saying through you, they will invalidate it by trying to one-up you with the fact that this person who's supposedly an expert in religion says it better than you. So you should access their information, because the information that the Holy Spirit is giving you is not adequate and it's inferior, because they're going to supplement what a human being says to what the Holy Spirit says so that they one-up you and they're better than you. They'll pause and they get quiet and they act like they're accessing the Holy Spirit, but really they're accessing their intellectual mind of idolatry. Most narcissists are very, very smart. There's ambulances coming into the subdivision. There are those people that act religious and act like they have a relationship with the Holy Spirit and with God. But what they do is they connect to a Holy Spirit, but it's really the person's intellect. They're not really going to the Holy Spirit. They're going to their own intellectual mind, and they're accessing their educational resources. There are emergency vehicles coming through my subdivision right now. So I hope I hope they're okay. Anyway, narcissists do not respect your time or your expertise. And it's interesting that emergency vehicles are dispatched when there truly is an actual emergency. So when something is of urgent spiritual nature, like for example, the fire department, I just saw a police department, and an ambulance fire truck just came rushing in because there really was an emergency. That's different than when you are engaging with a narcissist and you're in the snare of the narcissist. They do not respect your time or your expertise. They demand you stop immediately, like it's an emergency, and take care of their needs. The snare of the narcissist. The narcissist does not honor you or show you respect for your time or your presence in their midst. They do not praise you or honor you or show any respect for you as a person. And if they do love bomb you or compliment you at the beginning of the relationship, either in business or ministry or in a personal relationship, it is simply an emotional investment for their own selfish ambitions, which is one of the works of the flesh, so that they can get their needs met. So they will pretend they're engaging with the Holy Spirit to try to help you, but really it's just a trick, a snare of the narcissist that's toxic and paralyzing to get you to trust them, that they have good intentions for you. But really, it's all about their own selfish ambitions. Narcissists have a snare such as being haughty and superior to you, and they are extremely condescending towards others when they are interacting with you. Narcissists manipulate, seduce, and isolate the conversation and dominate the conversation in any relationship that they're in, whether it's in business, personal, or you just meet a new client. Narcissists are intellectually superior to you, And their relationship with the Holy Spirit is far superior to you than your relationship with the Holy Spirit. This is the religious narcissist. So how does God say, how do you know you're interacting with one of God's people? Philippians 4:8. You're supposed to focus and think about whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable. And if you focus on anything that is excellent or praiseworthy about a person, those are the things that you need to think about. But this is not the snare of the narcissist. This is not how a narcissist thinks. It's actually the opposite. The narcissist thinks about whatever is disgraceful, whatever is unrighteous, whatever is unclean, and with spot and blemish, whatever is terrible, whatever is not admirable or has no value in their eyes. They focus on everything that is dishonoring, disrespectful, and unpraiseworthy. And this is when they first meet you. They're very critical. The snare of the narcissist is that when you assimilate these character traits, you can, if you don't have God's firewall, you can absorb the spirit of fear. What does God say about fear? 2 Timothy 1:7. God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and self-discipline. So when you are interacting with a snare of the narcissist, a venomous snake, if you don't have your firewall of God up, and that's another video I'm going to do, you can assimilate the spirit of fear. How does that feel? Well, you start to feel inferior. You start to feel afraid of them. You fear authority. All of a sudden, they're better than you because they told you that they are, and you believe them. You believe the lie about who you are. So what does God say about that? 2 Corinthians 10:5. We, the children of God, we demolish arguments and of every pretension that sets itself up against what? The knowledge of God, and we take every thought captive and make it obedient to Christ. So when we are being critical, or our time is more important than your time, or we're being haughty or proud or pretentious, or we are in contempt prior to investigation, or we're doing your sin inventory, we are slandering you and persecuting you in front of all of our friends and family, and even on our YouTube channels. This is an example of thoughts that we need to give captive to Christ, to be obedient and give it over to Him. Because these are not the way that the children of God think. This is the snare of the narcissist. So when you are in a relationship with one of these,